Hello, everybody. I'm Mike Stewart, and I'm so excited to be here at the Box Tops Chat. I've been playing keyboards with these guys for the last a few months, and of course, because of the pandemic, it's been really hard to have many places to play. But we're looking forward to hopefully a really big 2021 and beyond. And so I'm going to bring on the founding members of the Box Tops. Here is Mr. Bill Cunningham.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us.
And other founding member and good buddy, Mr. Gary Talley.
Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody.
And what I like to call the celebrated Mr. K, our master drummer, the guy that keeps the beat, Ron Krasinski.
Hello, world.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Globally. All right.
So, this is a chat. The reason we're doing this is we want to be able to connect with the folks that love the band and love the music. And so, Bill, why don't you kind of just talk about what all's been going on and what we're doing? And really, this is the Box Tops Chat. You can talk about whatever you want to.
Yeah, we may go in a lot of different directions. Nothing's too much planned, but we haven't seen one another for a long time. We've not been playing. We haven't really been out. So every once in a while, we'll do a telephone call, one-on-one or something like that. So we thought it'd be nice just to get together for us to talk about what we've been doing since we've been stashed away, I guess, in our houses. And some of the guys, I think, have been out playing a little bit. I haven't really, but I can tell you all the other stuff I've been doing. Anyway, and we may even touch on some, old stories or something from the 60s or whatever. And if you have, I think Mike might have mentioned this, if you have anything that you want to, ask about, whether it's something we're talking about or, if you have comments or something, leave them in the chat. If you don't know how to do that, we can get Mike back on. He can probably instruct you through that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. What you want to do is we're on Facebook and YouTube right now, and we're at our own website, boxtops.com/chat. So there's a place here where I'm monitoring the comments, and in fact, I'm going to put up a comment right now. Leave your questions at any time right here. Let me get it typed up properly. Leave your questions here, and until you do, you guys can go ahead and just chat about what we got. Some people here showing up. We see,
Cool.
Sometimes people don't get here right at the top of the hour, but a lot of people know about this. Yeah. So go ahead and Gary and Bill and Ron, talk about some things that you want to let folks know about.
Let me also add that we're trying a new format, right? So we haven't tried this format before, so it's a little bit new for us, but hopefully it'll be more flexible and better, including we might be able to play some YouTube clips or something. Mike, you might look up something that we tried to play before under the other format. One of the songs that my dad played percussion on with Elvis, it's called Just Because. If you can find that in your leisure time, if you do have any. It might be
that's something we can do in a future episode.
Okay. It's something you can't do on the fly then. Okay.
Right. No, what you have to do is we can upload music clips, and in fact, that would be a great feedback in the questions or some things that you would like to hear, and anything that we want to play back, we can play back those things when we find out what people want.
Okay. Well, not trying to put you on the spot, just trying to let everybody know we're in a new format and we're sort of learning it ourselves. So, hi, Gary.
Hey, Bill. How you doing?
I'm doing fine. How have you been?
Well, I've been good. I'm playing in 5 bands and none of them are working.
Well, that sounds like, I don't know what. It sounds like a dilemma, I guess.
No.
I think you have been playing out a little bit, though, haven't you?
Yeah. Ron and I are both playing in this band called Boomerang. It's an oldies group here, and we've got a gig on October the 9th. And then I've got a duo with Sally Sladen-Berry from Boomerang, and it is also in the Nashville area on the 17th of October. Those are the only 2 gigs I have.
Yeah, well, that's probably 2 more than most people. I know, most people are not playing. There are a few people out there. I think Peter Noon's played a couple of dates here and there, and there may be one or two others, but not much happening in the music world. So is Ron around? Krasinski, where are you?
Here
Right
I am,
here. I see it.
just drinking my beer.
Oh, there you go.
I want to get a beer too.
Okay.
You've been doing something too, right?
Well, I have been doing things with Gary. We play in a couple of bands together with that one Boomerang. And of course, boomerangs are coming back. Come on, folks.
Don't worry, we have to put up this with Ron all the time.
But I've got my Santana band, which we're doing the night after we do Boomerang. So that's been doing it. Yeah, the live thing, it's few and far between, unfortunately. But recordings have been good. I've been in the studio a good bit, so that's good. That's keeping my sanity a bit. But I sure miss playing live, and I sure miss hanging with you guys and running through airports with you.
Yeah, right. The good old days, right? So
yes, indeed.
yeah, I mean, the music, it's not like we haven't done anything since the shutdown in March, but whatever we did do or whatever you have done yourselves, it feels good, right? I mean, it feels good. It sounds good. If people are there, it's really fun. Of course, studio sessions is different. You got a producer and engineers and everybody else. They're usually not as friendly as the audiences, I guess.
Well, and the thing I noticed too is, recording, you do a song at a time, and that's good. But when we play live, some sets are like 2 hours long, and man, I'm starting to run out of gas.
Yeah.
And I'm not used to doing long shows like we're used to doing.
Yeah, it's like athletics, for musicians. It's very similar. Minor, or I forget what you call them, but minuscule motor skills, the small motor skills. Not so much with you, Ron, because you're moving a lot of limbs, probably a lot more than the rest of us.
His motor is not so minuscule.
No, it's not. No.
I try to move as many limbs as I can.
Or, yeah. So, anything else happening, or you?
Well, we could tell the folks about our fabulous gig in Deadwood, South Dakota.
Well, you can mention it, I guess, if you want to.
We had a fabulous gig in Deadwood, South Dakota in August.
Yeah.
Outdoors.
Hail, hail. The gang was all there.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to stop after 6 songs because of a big storm.
Yeah.
But we had a great sound check, guys.
Oh, it was the best.
And people actually had commented that even though the set was cut short, that they really enjoyed listening to the sound check because they got a sense of what the show was going to be about. It was so great. They really enjoyed the sound check. And I had to tell them, the sound check, we were just goofing around trying to get balances. None of that was in the show. We've never played any of that stuff before. And yet we did. Gary, what was it? Harlem Nocturne or something?
We did Spanish Harlem.
Spanish Harlem.
Okay.
And we did Wipeout.
We did Wipeout. We did Bo Diddley.
Bo Diddley. Yeah, Hey Bo Diddley.
We did a Bo Diddley medley with Hey Bo Derek, actually. We changed it.
Yeah. And then we did some kind of blues number where I think, Gary, you were just yelling out whatever you could think of that had come across any blues tune, and be sure to repeat it twice before you go into the third line. So
yeah.
So one thing, I'm just looking at a list of things that I had written down for some other sessions, and these just are sort of weird things. But and they're not connected to anything. But Gary, you may respond to these, or these may trigger memories in your mind. This is stuff from back in the '60s, when we were starting out. So one thing was that when the letter first broke, Brian Wilson called almost immediately when it got in the charts and asked for us to join the Beach Boys. So Brian wasn't playing with the Beach Boys at the time, but he wanted us out with them because they really liked the song. And I think this was shortly after their Hawaii trip, and they had recorded some rehearsals in Hawaii or something like that. And they had done the letter as well, I believe, in that.
Mhm.
So that was interesting. That one of the first calls we got, one of the first big shows we got, was a call from Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys to join the Beach Boys out, and I think it was in Cincinnati that we played.
Yeah.
I just remember going up the stairs, and it's a Coliseum kind of thing, and walking out behind, split the curtains, walking out on stage. I walked down to, I think, the right side of the stage right. You, Gary, probably walked to the opposite end of the stage, and Alex was in between us, and all that kind of stuff. And so we started playing, and of course, in those days, they didn't have any monitors. So there was no way for us to really hear one another. So after I barely heard the count offs to each of the songs, it was like a bass solo, and so I would just finish the song, sing my parts, and then the song would be over, but I never heard anybody else.
We
and I-
used to open the show with that song, No Good to Cry by the Wild Weeds,
Oh, yeah.
and I played bass on it. So on the first song on the set, you and
They
John
played keyboard?
were playing keyboard,
Oh, okay.
and I played bass. And I
Yeah.
remember not hearing a note that I played because the girls were screaming so loud.
Well, I remember the girls screaming, and this was at the tail end of the Beatles screaming period, right? It was the late summer of love, 1967. But the girls were still screaming, at least for that show and maybe a couple others. And I remember one of the things I never thought about as a performer, because I never played in that big of a place, the screams actually had vibrations, and they moved my clothes in the opposite direction. So the screams came at me, and my clothes were like waving, sort of like loosely waving toward the back of the stage. And I never realized that the voices actually, but it's more than just the sound waves. In some way, there was huge wave of sound, and that was very strange. And you remember anything else about that show?
No, all I remember was not being able to hear anything I was playing. That's the main thing.
Yeah, well, that's more or less what I ran into as well. And so when we started out, I posted something on my Facebook page today or yesterday that had me in one of those Nehru jackets, one of those things that we bought at Paul Sargent's in the Village.
Yeah.
Back in the Village in New York City was sort of like Carnaby Street was in London at that time. And so if you wanted hip clothes and all that stuff. But one of the ways we found out about this place was we were doing the Upbeat show in Cincinnati, I think. No, not Cincinnati. Cleveland, right? Cleveland. And I remember we were talking with, I don't know if it was one of the Outsiders or something, but it was one of the groups that we were playing with. And they always had these really cool looking Sgt. Pepper's like clothes, which Sgt. Pepper's was just released that summer. And I remember asking them, where did you get those clothes? And they said, Paul Sargent's in the Village. So the next time we were in New York, we all made a beeline for Paul Sargent's down in the Village, and we ended up getting all kind of things.
Oh, yeah.
So that was
spending a lot of money there.
Yeah, me too. And I remember, I'd go in and I'd see turtleneck sweaters, and they'd have one in beige and one in gray and one in sort of a burnt rust color or something else, or a navy blue. And I couldn't decide between the colors, but we were making enough money. I just took one of each. So I didn't have to worry about, price limit or something. I could just.
Well, yeah. That was actually one of the biggest culture shock experiences of being in the box tops. That's the first time in my life I'd ever had any money.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, we
wanted a guitar.
a little bit, but yeah, it was nice. Yeah, our manager stole most of it, but but there was so much made from the letter that we ended up making money even after studio costs and everything else that went on, which was interesting. Clothing wise, let's think of another thing. When we started out, sticking on the clothing theme, um, the first clothes that we got was from Lansky Brothers, I think, right?
Yeah.
And we went in to get measured for suits, and so we got the suits with the checker pants and the brown coats, and Alex got one that was the opposite color or something, kind of thing to make him stand out a little bit as a lead singer. And then, so we wore suits for the first few, I guess, month and a half, first few weeks anyway, but about a month and a half or something, maybe 2 months. And then we ended up going to the Dallas Fort Worth music festival, and we were closing the festival with the Doors, and Jim Morrison, and Ray Manzarek and Densmore and everybody, Krieger, were all there. And I remember they dressed so, no suits and sort of just whatever they wanted and stuff. And I sort of remember us like abandoning our suit look and going where we began to, wear whatever we wanted to. And then the sergeants came in and we started buying according to our individual taste.
Yeah, and we actually, because of our manager, we actually went through another suit period on the Nonstop album where he made us go buy these matching blue suits.
And shoes, remember the patent leather shoes? They were the same color blue too. Where did we do that? Was that Lansky Brothers in Memphis too?
No, it was New York.
New York? Okay. Yeah.
There was a tailor on 34th Street. What is it? No, was it? Wherever there's near the garment district where there's a lot of tailor shops. I forgot.
Yeah.
But that's who made them.
Okay. Yeah. And was sorry everybody for rambling on, but I'm just sort of catching up here because my memory's gone. But was Skip Cunningham with us at that time?
He was with us right after that. He wasn't with us when we got the suits, but he was with us during that same period because our manager not only wanted us to wear the blue suits, but wanted us to start doing steps. He was totally out of sync with what was going on.
And for the viewers or listeners, Skip Cunningham, even though he's got the same last name as I do, was a guy from I think from Harlem. And
he was a New York City guy. He's in LA now.
But he was from Harlem. I remember going up to his apartment somewhere in Harlem. And anyway, he was a good friend of Sammy Davis Jr.'s.
Yeah, he was a great tap dancer.
Yep.
And he did stuff on Broadway and movies.
And we were not good tap dancers, nor did we feel like that. And so we abandoned that too. So suits got abandoned, dancing got abandoned, and we just focused on the music and singing and whatever else that made sense to us as being local Memphis musicians, right?
Yeah.
So that was it. Anybody have any questions?
Yeah, we got a couple of them, and I'm encouraging people, go to the chat. We've got people here live, and we go to the chat and ask some questions, and appreciate me and Ron hanging out here. But I got some things I want to talk quickly bring up. When I started playing with you guys back in the first of the year, right before the pandemic, there were songs that I didn't realize that you guys had recorded. And that might be something fun to talk about because, for instance, Flying Saucers Rock and Roll is the thing that Gary's saying. Well, I didn't realize that you guys had an album called Tear Off?
Yeah.
And that was recorded on there. And then, of course, one of the things that happened this week, we do Treat Her Right by Roy Head, who we lost this week. Right. And I didn't realize that I guess that was Alex singing and recorded that as well.
Yeah, we recorded it. It was on Tear Off.
It was on the Tear Off album too.
And
so all the sets that we do, I guess you guys have recorded all those songs. I didn't know if you were just doing them because you liked them or
no. Most everything. And the unique thing about Tear Off, which a lot of people don't know, I guess most people don't know, is that the songs we chose had special meaning for us because we had some kind of attachment, either among ourselves or within our family members, to each of the songs, almost each of the songs. Now, Wang Dang Doodle was the first song that we did on that album, recorded. And we did that. Gary, you want to say why we did that?
Well, yeah, because when we were back in '67, the first few times we were in the studio, we wanted to do that song because Coco Taylor had the hit on it. And
A Memphian, by the way.
yeah, and they wouldn't let us do it because the words were kind of risque, and they were talking about guns and potent razors and all this whiskey and snuff, and just a lot of references like that, and they wouldn't let us record it. And we thought, well, hey, now in '97 or '96, we said we can record whatever we want to because we don't have a label telling us what to do exactly. So, or a producer telling us what to do.
So we did that. We also did. You mentioned Treat Her Right. I think John Evans was a good friend of the trumpet player on Treat Her Right, which is one reason why we did that. We did Soothe Me principally because Gary had played with Sam Moore of Sam and Dave.
Well, I played with Roy Head, who did Treat Her Right, and Sam Moore, who did from Sam and Dave.
Okay.
And then we did a Dan Pintone called It Tears Me Up, which was a great song.
Yeah, that was nice. We even did a country tune on there. And what was the first one? Flying Saucers, Rock and Roll. I remember my brother showing up at the session for that one. And my brother was at the original recording at Sun with Billy Lee Riley.
Yeah, and not only that, was later on with your brother BB Engineering, we recorded another album with Billy Lee Riley in 1970.
Yeah. So, but my brother on the on Flying Saucers happened to be sitting over near the piano player. My brother played piano as well. And so he watched him. He knew what he was doing. So he showed John Evans, who played keyboards on that Tear Off. He showed him what the keyboard part was, which is there's a little tricky something in there. I'm not quite sure what it was, but it was interesting. And Gary borrowed my brother's guitar for the country tune, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Bouquet. And it had a really sweet sound. It was a Gibson 335, I believe.
340.
345. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was interesting. And we all went out to lunch. I think Rick Levy showed up, and we went out to lunch, and we did whatever. My brother happened to stick around the studio. When we came back, we did a playback of something we had just recorded that day, and all of a sudden there was another guitar part on there. And we all looked at one another saying, where the hell did that come from? And my brother had this sort of Cheshire cat smile on his face because he had decided he wanted to put another guitar part. And actually it was on, if I remember correctly, it was on Trip to Bandstand, which was one of my brother's songs. But, it wasn't an overpowering part, but it was like, where did that part come from? Gary, did you play that? No, I didn't play that. And I looked over at my brother, and he's got this big smile on his face. So,
well, hey, to let the world see, and you guys see, this is what we look like live on a cell phone. So, I'll let you see that it's going live. Well, we got a question here. A viewer, Mike Carruthers, says, if you guys can read that. They love hearing about you being on the road with the Beach Boys, and he said I didn't know Dennis Wilson had a solo album, but he also continues to say it's fantastic and really deep, lots of piano, bass, instrument. But here was his question, which is pretty good, and you can read it there. Were you able to spend much time with Dennis, in particular on tour with the Beach Boys? And what was your take on his personality like at that point? And maybe Ron in L.A., you ran across the Beach Boys, so anybody that can contribute, I'm just kind of being the moderator here.
Well, Dennis had more girls chasing him than anybody on earth. he had like 30 girls following him all over the U.S. and Canada. Everywhere he went, he had girls chasing him,
Yeah.
and he was the only real surfer in the band. I mean, he actually surfed, and he was the only real beach boy. Actually, um, if you have to be a surfer to be a beach boy, he was the only one anyway.
Yeah. Now, I remember Dennis. I mean, we hung out with Dennis. We were good friends with Dennis and Carl and Al Jardine as well. And of course, we saw Mike a lot, but and Bruce Johnson as well was with him at the time. The thing I remember most about Dennis was I think we were up in Canada and we were in a hotel, and Alex and I and Dennis and Carl were sort of hanging out together and around a spinet piano in I don't know what, a convention room or a place where they serve some kind of banquet or something. Nobody was there, wasn't decorated or anything, but they had this spinet piano over there in a corner. And Dennis said, "I got something I want to play for you and see what you think." And he played a song called "Forever," which he actually wrote for his father. If you listen to the words, it makes some sense because Dennis always felt that his father didn't like him in a certain way or whatever, or he always wanted to impress his dad. But he played "Forever," which is a gorgeous tune. And that was the first time Carl or obviously Alex and I had ever heard it. And it was just Dennis on piano and him singing, "Forever." So,
Oh,
and the birthday boy here, Gary.
yeah, well, it was my 21st birthday, and we were in a hotel in Indianapolis, and Bill, you were responsible for this, so you can tell me what happened.
I mentioned I was hanging out again with Carl and Dennis, and I mentioned to them that it was your birthday. And they immediately Carl said, "Oh, we've got to get him a cake. We've got to do something." And so we went out cake hunting and we found one, and then we brought it to your hotel room or wherever it was and knocked on the door. And then you can tell it because you opened the door.
Well, I opened the door, and I'm alone in my as the case usually was. I was alone in my hotel room, and I opened the door, and there's Bill and Carl and Dennis, and was Al there too? I forget.
I don't know. I just remember Carl and Dennis mostly, but
Anyway, so here I am, and they've got this orange cake, and the Beach Boys are singing "Happy Birthday" to me. So it was really cool. It's one of those things that I will never forget. Bill and the Beach Boys standing there at my door singing "Happy Birthday" to me.
yeah, it's not always that we had a chance to sing with them, So
And I tried to get them to sing "Happy Birthday" to me so many other years, and they would never do it.
Yeah, well, who knows? But we did on the Happy Together tour.
Yeah,
I was saying "Happy Birthday." I don't know who all was in that room, but
yeah.
Howard Kalin stick his head in, and Mark was there.
Dante, Mark Bowman,
Yeah.
Chuck Negron was there.
Yeah.
The association, they were there.
Yeah.
They were there.
Yeah. So that was good. So let's see if I got any other kind of thing. I don't know, Mike, if there's any other questions, you're welcome to pop back in.
Well, folks, Mike Carruthers, we really appreciate him giving us some questions. Obviously the chat box is under the video. It's there on Facebook. We're gonna probably wind it up pretty soon if we don't get some more questions. But we just wanted to create a little chat here and let everybody know. Maybe something might be fun since we're not getting a question. Is that each person just talk about something that you're looking forward to when we play again. That might be fun to do, unless you got something else, Bill, on your agenda.
No, I don't have any particular agenda. I was really just trying to catch up with everybody, see what everyone's up to. But we're all healthy. That's good. hopefully
yeah.
everybody listening is healthy too, and everyone mask up, stay safe, try to follow whatever kind of guidelines are in your area or even beyond, and hopefully we'll get through this stuff pretty quickly and get back. It'll be a lot of fun. Ron, you got anything you want to bring up or?
Don't forget to vote.
Just good to see you guys.
Yeah, same here. Yeah, and
At
everybody
least,
get out and vote.
at least we get to play. The three of us
Yeah.
getting to play together.
Well, you guys never liked me very much anyway.
No. It's Gary and I. In fact, Gary, what's going to be really interesting is there's a Beatles radio show here in Nashville. Gary is going to be the guest for the next 2 weeks. I saw today on Gary's Facebook where he talks box tops and he talks Beatles, and of course Ron and Gary and I play Beatles music around here in Nashville when we can, and so that's another little bit of fun. But I just really enjoy playing the Hammond B3 and piano parts on all those great songs that you guys do in the set list. I love playing with Ron. He is the timekeeping master. I'll tell you that. And he's the celebrated Mr. K for me. And Bill, I love you and Gary playing all those great songs. Emily, let's see here. She says, I'll show you what Emily says here. It says, Rick Levy invited me here. Rick, unfortunately, couldn't be with us tonight. But and I've been listening to it lately in my car. Well, I'm glad somebody that has a CD player in their car.
Yay.
Hey, alert the Wall Street Journal or somebody.
Yeah.
But at any rate, thank you, Emily. Glad those songs are classic. Neon Rainbow, Cry Like a Baby. Golly, all those records. In fact, my favorite box top story is I'm a little, I don't look younger, but I'm a little younger than Gary and Bill and Ron. And I was 13 in a band called the Metallic Rainbow. And I'll never forget buying Cry Like a Baby. And we tried to learn it. And my bass player in the band, there was no way he could do that solo.
Oh, did he mess up the break?
Yeah,
Did he mess up the break?
he could not figure it out. We did everything we could. They tore up my record player, my 45, trying to slow it down to be able to go figure out those bass licks. So, but I remember buying Neon Rainbow and thinking, what a great song. And
so did you name your band after Neon Rainbow in some way?
No, that was what was ironic. Back you remember there was Strawberry Alarm Clock. There was all those psychedelic. So I'm sure all of us when we've had bands, it's sitting around and you take all afternoon. What do we want to call ourselves? And finally the guys decided on Metallic Rainbow, and that was before you came out with Neon Rainbow.
Okay.
So we were on the same wavelength when I was 13 years old. So for all these years later to be friends with you guys and get to play this great music, the only thing that makes me sad is that we can't play right now, and I can't wait till we play again.
Yeah, well, we will, and we all, fans have written and friends as well saying, "Oh, I need to hear some live music," and my response is, "We all do."
Yeah.
I mean, the musicians need it as much as the fans. We're all craving to do that because there's nothing like live music.
Emily loves Neon Rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
You know what? This is a good idea because there is creativity going on around this group. So Mike says, any inspiration for a new original song to maybe put in the 2021 set? What do you think, Bill and Gary?
I don't know. I had another thought about Neon Rainbow, but let's answer that one.
Okay, we used to do. I wanted to mention this too. Richard Fleming and I wrote this song called "Last Laugh" that the Box Tops put on the Tear Off album, and we used to do it live. But Richard and I have got another CD coming out, and Ron played drums on it. And Richard and I have a duo called Memphinati. And so that's been a fun project. And Richard wrote a couple of really big blues songs that were on the album. He wrote 6 of the songs on the Buddy Guy album. Um, what is the name of that album? It won a Grammy like last year, I think it was.
Something about the blues.
Yeah, something about the blues. Da 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 blues. Anyway, so that's been fun, and
Yeah.
maybe someday we can do Last Laugh live again.
Yeah. It's definitely a thought. So we'll do that. The thing I had on,
The blues is live and well. That's the album.
Yes, that's it.
okay, that's good. Yeah, Neon Rainbow. The thought I had on that was, and I was reminded of it when we saw our initial road manager, who became sort of an assistant manager at the time. But when the letter came out, the next tune, once the first album was getting finalized, there was a push. I don't know if Dan Penn was pushing it. I think Dan was pushing 727, which was another jet aircraft tune kind of thing. And actually, that one actually had the 4 or 6 snare drum clicks somewhere in the middle of the song. So it was sort of reminiscent in some peculiar way, not a direct copy of the letter, but just a couple of nods to the letter. But we fought really hard to get Neon Rainbow put out as the second single, because the feeling was we didn't want to just be releasing something that sounded like what we had just released, the same tempo, the same sort of references and things. And that's why Neon Rainbow is so different. We thought that will be good because it'll show we could do different things and play different kind of genre. And in a way, that was a great idea. I'm really proud of the song. I really liked the song. I think it was a great move, but it didn't go as high as the letter because I think a lot of people just didn't know it was us, and later on, it caught on different places, and it did get up into, I think, 21 or something like that. But
yeah, and it's important to point out that Wayne Carson wrote both of those songs. He wrote the letter and Neon Rainbow.
Yeah, and Soul Deep.
And Soul Deep.
Yeah. So anyway, that was my thought on Neon Rainbow. So.
Well, gents, do you have any final words here? Because this has been a nice little chat. Unless there's some burning conversation, I hope folks are enjoying this. I hope you like the new format.
I'll bring something up. You, Bill, you sent us a list of groups that had covered "Treat Her Right? So I checked a bunch of them out. You got to check out Low Straight Jackets.
Oh yeah, I saw them listed.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
They have these hideous masks on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been covered a lot, but and that was a citation from a local paper, Music Row, or publication.
Right.
So, but it was nice of them to include us as having done it. So that was nice.
Yeah.
So,
but I love seeing the Roy Head video. I had never seen that before, Bill.
Oh, he was
James Brown.
He was amazing. I mean, it's just unbelievable. And what a great
Sundance Head was his son, and I didn't realize that. He was the guy who was a winner and a country artist on The Voice.
And do you know that Wayne Carson and Roy Head are cousins?
I didn't know that.
Wow.
Yeah. Well,
yeah, they're joined at the verse.
Yeah.
Truth is stranger than fiction, they say.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess we're done. But thanks everyone for coming. I hope you liked it, even though there wasn't a lot of structure. But again, it was just us wanting to see one another and letting you in on it, and giving us an opportunity to check in since it's been a while. So. But check us out on boxtops.com. Check our tour page for. Looks like 2021's got a lot of stuff in there. I don't know, what'll go and what won't go, but we'll, keep your eye on it there. And
if you know anybody that wants guitar lessons, tell them to call me because I teach guitar lessons online and in person.
There you go. So do that because
Well, here we're
Gary's a
going.
great guitarist.
Yeah.
Here you go, Gary.
I need the money.
This is how you do it. It's GaryTalley.com for guitar lessons and a whole lot more. And this video, you can watch it. You know what's great about using this technology called StreamYard is that it's archived, and you'll be able to back this up and rewind it and watch it and binge watch it over and over and over again. And let us know if you enjoy this, and we'll continue to do it if you like it. But it's fun to get to see you guys because we don't get together as much as I would like to. And if anybody has any final words, I'll let you go one at a time. In fact, let's let Bill go, then Gary, and then Ron, and then I'll say good night.
Oh, I think I've already said it's basically thanks for joining us, and we hope to see you live sometime in the near future.
Good night, and good night, Mrs. Calabash, wherever you are.
Good night, everybody. Have a good weekend.
Thanks, everybody. This has been Box Tops Chat. I'm Mike Stewart for the Box Tops Chat at boxtops.com/chat. Share this video with your friends on Facebook. Share it on YouTube. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Connect with us. And thank you so much for being here. And of course, Emily says, laugh out loud, joined at the verse. You got to laugh there, Ron. So thanks again, and good night from Box Tops Chat.